how to record and interpret global longitudinal strain. And the speaker for this session is Dr. Sanjay Mittal. All of us know Dr. Sanjay Mittal is the Senior Director, Clinical Cardiology and Research at the Medanta, the Medicity, Gurgaon. He has nearly 30 years of experience in the field of clinical and non-invasive cardiology. He has established the first heart failure clinic in the country. He's in charge of heart failure program at the Medanta. He's past president of IAE NCR chapter, member of numerous medical societies and professional organizations, more than 50 publications in various national and international journals, and he has served principal investigator, national lead investigator of several trials. Next, our chairpersons for this session is Dr. Padma Gulati. She's a member, American College of Physicians, India chapter, member IAE, fellow UP Diabetes Associations, and is a consultant physician at the Gulati High Hospital and Medical Care Center. The next chairperson is Dr. Smith Srivastav. He's a secretary, Chhattisgarh State API of Physicians, head department of cardiology, Advanced Cardiac Institution, Pandit J.N.M. Medical College, Raipur, is winner of National Medical Gold Medal for the best paper at Jericon 2009 and has many publications. I'll request Dr. Mittal to start his deliberation and hand the session to the chairpersons.
Thank you, Dr. Manoria, for giving me the opportunity of presenting in the meeting. The topic I'm going to discuss today, as Dr. Manoria said, is the principles of strain and how to inquire and interpret them. As was very evident in the panel discussion, that this is something which we are all echocardiographers and clinical cardiologists looking up to find a solution specifically for heart failure with preserved ejection fraction. And also to come out with the ambiguity of the ejection fraction business in reduced ejection fraction. So the principles of myocardial strain is that, say, for example, if the length of the myocardial segment is 10 centimeters for practical purposes, and during systole it reduces to 8 centimeters, there is a change of 20%. And this 20% change is a reduction of 20%. That means it is minus 20. And that is what this cardiac strain is all about. However, if the length increases to 20% during a process, then the strain is plus 20. So we all understand during cardiac systole, there is a shortening of the myocardial segment, and that is why the strain, the longitudinal strain, which is measured during the length of the myocardium, is negative, and the normal value is around minus 20. So what happens here is that if the myocardium segments are taken, the machines today are actually looking at the speckles. All these myocardium segments are made of speckles, fine dots. And these dots can be enlarged by the machines and they can be tracked during the cardiac cycle. And what happens is that during the cardiac cycle, all these tracked points or speckles are not only tracked during the systole, but also there are new points which can be added during the cardiac cycle. And that is what makes the complete assessment of speckle tracking during the cardiac cycle. When we look at the left ventricle strain can be measured into 6 segments. All these segments are color coded, and all the speckle trackings during these segments are graphed in accordance to the change of the rate of strain. And this can also be drawn into a graph form, which shows that this apex, if you look at the purple one and the green one, they are the apical segments. They started the contraction earlier and later on the basal segments, and the red one means minus 20. So you can actually plot all the strains into the graph, which means the maximum and the minimum strain, as well as in the graphical format. So there are 3 different kinds of strain which we can measure, because the cardiac motility is in 3 different dimensions. One is the longitudinal, that means from the base to the apex. Second is circumferential, that means the heart also narrows down. And the third one is the radial strain, which means the thickening of the myocardium. So in systole, as we all know, the myocardium thickens. That means the thickness increases. That is why the radial strain is always a positive value. Whereas the circumference, which shortens during systole, as well as the length of the myocardium, which also shortens during systole, is a negative value. There are a few pointers which I would like to highlight here. During the image acquisition, usually the strain can be done offline. The image has to be acquired. So the principle is very important. Garbage in is garbage out. So we have to be very cautious on the acquisition of images. The image required has to be longitudinal in 3 apical views for the longitudinal strain, which means apical 4-chamber, 2-chamber, and 3-chamber view. There could be circumferential strain, and radial strain, which we have to look at 3 short axis levels at the base, apex, and mid-level. Second thing is all the images should be ECG gated, and at least 3 cycles should be taken with a uniform heart rate. Mind that atrial fibrillation is going to be leading to a major problem. The frame rate of the acquisition should be around 40 to 70 for the best utility. And the image quality has to be optimized. Otherwise, if we don't see the endocardium too well, there would be a problem. So good left ventricular wall endocardium with delineation, minimize the depth. The breath should be held just for 3 beats, that is, or 3 seconds. Avoid foreshortening and rib artifacts. Otherwise, this is, again, as I said, garbage in is garbage out. For example, this is what I give an example here. A wonderful image, 4-chamber, no foreshortening, endocardium is beautifully seen all around. Here, well, I can see the endocardium here, but the images are blurred at the apex. We have to get it better to get the better utility. But on the left corner, if we look at the images, you can see I can't see the endocardium here. If you produce such kind of images for the analysis of GLS, it's going to be a negative study, and we have to be very important to manage the image quality before we go for the GLS. Second thing is endocardial border. The step is to delineate the endocardial border and give the machine a little bit of learning. If we do not delineate the endocardial border, like this here, endocardium is inside and the border is outside, you will get wrong results. So be very cautious in delineating the endocardial border. The third thing which we have to look at, that it should be LV wall only. Here, you look at this particular image, the papillary muscle has been incorporated, and this would give a wrong reading. So ideally, only the left ventricular wall, the septum and the left ventricular wall should be delineated. The fourth caution is that the proper contour of the left ventricle has to be again recorded. And if at all there is a change by some machines, we can change the contour to suit our perception. Otherwise, it's going to give us a wrong reading again. The fifth one is that we have to be very cautious on putting the annulus markers. Mind it, this is the landmarks which we are giving the machine for the analysis. So the marker should be like this, from the base of the mitral valve to the other base of the mitral valve. If we, for example, in this patient, the base of the mitral valve is here, but the ROI is going beyond that, this is wrong. And this is going to give us a wrong reading, especially in the basal segments. Similarly,
Dr. Mittal, 2 minutes left.
Yes, similarly here, the aortic root is going wrong. So the global longitudinal strain, it could be thereafter identified. We can have a bullseye plot where we can have the global longitudinal strain. Here in this particular patient, it is -14, but also we can have segmental longitudinal strains here, which can come out and give us a little bit of idea of which segments are not contracting as well as the other ones. The same thing can be plotted in the graph. As I said, one more thing which I would like to mention here before I end my talk, the rotation and torsions also can be measured. And the problem is, as is going to be here in this particular view, the base contracts counterclockwise and the apex contracts clockwise. And this torsion of -5 and -10 adds up to about 15 degrees or torsion base to apex and can also be identified. So, ladies and gentlemen, my last slide, the normal values of strain parameters are the circumferential strain is -25 to -30. The radial strain is +50 to +70. And the area strain is -30 to -50. The apical rotation is +10 and basal rotation is -5, amounting for total strain of rotation of about -15. And last but not the least, the normal values globally are accepted that 18 to -20 is normal. Less than 15 is definitely suggestive of LV systolic dysfunction. Thank you.
Insights from the world's best medical minds. You are watching therightdoctors.com.